Okay, so we're going to do the herringbone stitch this time for our sampler bag. And we're going to be, you're working on really large needles, again, compared to the rest of the bag. And you are working on more stitches than usual because this is a really tight knit. And we are going to be working in pairs of stitches. So we're going to slip the first stitch knitwise and the second stitch knitwise. We're going, like you're doing an SSK, we're going to insert the left-hand needle into the front of those two stitches, and we're going to pull through both, but I'm only going to drop the first stitch off the needle. From then on, I'm going to slip the first stitch purlwise, the second stitch knitwise, so that they are lined correctly on my needle. I'm going to pull through both stitches, but only drop the first one off. Slip the next stitch purlwise, the next stitch knitwise. Again, it's going to feel just like an SSK, right, where you slip, slip, knit. Go ahead and come through both of those stitches, but only drop the first one off. Slip the next one knitwise, slip the next one purlwise, the next stitch knitwise, insert into both, come through, and only drop the first stitch off. Slip the next one purlwise, the next one knitwise. You're going to have a really good sense of this is right because it should be super easy to get into the front of those stitches. If it's not, you've probably done something wrong. So I'm not going to show you wrong. I'm going to just like try to keep going with this. Slip it purlwise, knitwise into the front of both of those stitches with your left hand needle, and go ahead and drop the first one off. Let me go ahead and switch the style of knitting. Okay. Slip the first stitch purlwise, the next stitch knitwise, insert both, go ahead and knit the two together, but only drop the first stitch off. Slip purlwise, slip knitwise, insert into both, come through both stitches, but only drop the first stitch off. This is actually one of the ones that is rarely easier in throwing than it is in continental. Come through both, drop the first stitch off only, insert, insert, sorry, that was slip, slip, insert, come through, okay, drop only one stitch off, slip purlwise, slip knitwise, insert into both stitches, work that back needle, come through both stitches, but only drop the first one off. And you're going to keep doing that to the end of the row. I'm going to switch so I can get there a little bit more quickly, and I want to show you that last stitch. Purlwise, knitwise, into both, dropping only one off. So you're going to recognize that you're working both stitches, right, the two stitches twice. Coming into both, and through, drop that first one off. Purl, knit, into both. They're like really big needles. And drop that one off. Okay, then I get to my last one, and I slip purlwise, I slip knitwise, I insert into both, but I'm still going to drop only one off. So I have one stitch left on my needle, I go ahead and knit that through the back loop. Okay, that's your knit side. Your purl side, maybe easier, maybe not. You're just going to purl two together, drop the first one off. Purl two together, drop the first one off. Purl two together, drop only the first stitch off. Purl two together, and drop only the first stitch off. So it's, again, this is one of those that's like really, simple, but not necessarily really easy. And it will get tighter and tighter, so make sure you are making the stitches on the full side of the needle, because you're going to kind of sometimes come in only to that tip, and then as you drop off, make sure you're dropping off only one, and then make the stitch the full size. Purl the two together, but only drop that first stitch off. Make the stitch the full size. Purl the two together, and only drop the first stitch off. Okay, I'm going to switch again real quick so I can get to the end of the row. You're going to be working even stitches in this one. Purl two together, drop the first one off, purl two together, drop the first one off, right, And as I get down to those last couple stitches, I'm going to just keep doing the same old thing. And here, where I'm going to purl my two together, right? And that last one still stays on, I just purl it. No special thing. Okay, I'm going to work a few more rows so I can show you what it's actually going to look like, because it's kind of a cool stitch. So I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so I thought I would just show you what it's going to look like, because it's really a pretty stitch. When you're counting rows, if you think about it, if you see that direction and then that direction, that's one row and that's 2 rows. So that's going to help you a little bit, although you're really just knitting for a certain number of inches in this pattern. I also wanted to remind you that at the beginning of the row, remember, we slip knitwise at the beginning of the row, and then and drop off on the right side row, and then you're purlwise and knitwise. And all of that is to make sure that you are trying to get those stitches aligned to where this that leg that's in back is actually forward of the front leg, so that it's easy to get into those stitches. So again, you're going to really recognize that it's done correctly, purlwise, knitwise, when it's easy to get into those stitches. If you do this and you reverse it, it's going to be really hard to get into them. I mean, next to impossible. So then just put them back on your needle, right? Look at them and say, okay, that's open. That's going to be purlwise. I'm sorry, guys. And then this one that just got twisted, so I'm going to untwist it, right? And if I can take that knitwise, I've got them on correctly. Now, the other thing that's going to happen to you at some point is you're going to take them both off. So when that happens, just with your left-hand needle, from the back to the front, pick that leg up, right? And then you're going to be right where you need to be to do the next one. And that will happen probably every 5 stitches or so. I keep my thumb there to hold on to that stitch as I'm dropping the other one off. So that's herringbone. This is one of my favorite stitches. I think it's just beautiful, and it really is worth all the effort. So have fun with it.